Hello, I'm Scott Bogey here with Nicholas Cornejo ahead of his fight against Adrian Lee. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
That is completely fine. And obviously, the fight against Adrian Lee is happening at one in Colorado. You are from Colorado. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. It's an honor and a blessing at the same time, to represent not only my hometown of Pueblo, Colorado, but to represent Colorado in a whole, being the only Colorado fighter on this card.
And do you have quite a few fans from your area coming to watch you?
Absolutely. I have all my friends, my family, my children, my fiance. I have a lot of support that are going to be at the event. So it's going to be amazing.
And how big is it knowing that you have that backing of your wife and your kids?
It's a huge it's a huge support. It's an overwhelming good feeling to have that support system with me, especially being there as well
Yeah.
too.
And it is around a 2 hour trip that to get to the place from where you are. Are you going to be making that trip on the day, or are you going to get a hotel there?
More than likely be having a hotel and staying up there for the couple of days.
And this fight is at welterweight, and your last couple of fights have been at lightweight. What was it that had made you change weight divisions?
It actually is a lightweight belt. Um, with one championship, it's their divisions are a lot different because of the hydration clause.
Okay.
Um, so it is still considered a lightweight. So I don't have to cut as much weight as I usually do or dehydrate myself like I normally do, which is never been a problem for me anyway. I still feel my strongest when I do cut weight because I cut it right, and I have a
Yeah.
fiance that helps me with my nutrition to make sure I still have my calorie intake, my protein intake, my carb intake, and she makes sure that my nutrition is on point with everything, with the fighting game and everything.
Yeah. And this is also your one championship debut. How excited are you for that?
I'm more than excited. I really, when people ask me, there's not enough words to explain or even put together uh, the amount of feelings that I have uh, for this debut and for one championship to even look at me, a small town kid from Pueblo, Colorado, when there's a multitude of amazing fighters that are coming out of Colorado, between Springs, Pueblo, and Denver.
Yeah.
So it's just a truly an honor.
And you have got the quality to prove it. And so you truly do deserve that contract. You were 5 wins and one draw as an amateur. You're 2-0 as a pro. So you definitely deserve this opportunity. Do you feel
Thank
like do you feel like being able to defeat someone like Adrian Lee really cements your position in one? Because obviously Lee's the Lee family has got a lot of history with one. His brother is the current double champion. His
Mhm.
sister, before retiring, she was able to get the title in strawweight and flyweight. Do you feel like this is a massive fight in the one championship?
Yeah, absolutely. And I go in with every intention to, stand my ground, to I don't show fear, and I just go in and do my work and like I've said before in other interviews, I let my I let my fighting in the cage do the talking. Um, I don't disrespect my opponents, but all my opponents have been, bigger than me or have more experience in fighting than me, but it's my all gas, no brakes type of mentality that I have when I go into the cage. My cardio, my willpower, my relentlessness, and I've always been the underdog my entire life growing up in sports, football, wrestling, and now fighting. Every single one of my opponents, I'm a small guy. I have a small stature, but a big heart. they always say it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. So, and I believe that 100%.
Do you feel like you taking that underdog mentality? Do you feel like that just takes a wee bit less pressure off you?
Absolutely. Like I said, I go in with the underdog, story, that kind of like David and Goliath
Yeah.
type story. So I kind of ran with that, my entire life, and with my fighting now and MMA, and with my amateur career and now my pro career. My biggest opponent was 6'4", and I
Yeah.
and I came out with a W on that.
And you've all been training with MMA your whole life. You think I read somewhere you started when you were 8, is that correct?
I started wrestling when I was 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the whole aspect of MMA until 2019, but yeah, wrestling, I've been wrestling since I was 8 years old. Shout out to Team Pueblo, which is a group. Um, it's a wrestling club here in town that's still going strong today. Uh, and my kids went through it. My two boys were able to wrestle for them as well as I did when I was younger. Wrestled all through middle school and all through high school. So,
That sounds great. And you've got that wrestling experience. However, you haven't needed it so far in your career. You have been able to just get them out on the feet. Do you feel like that has, yes, you have got a wrestling background. However, you've not been able to need it just yet. Just no one really knows about that game.
yeah, if a lot of my fights are on YouTube. A lot of people are able to look at my fights on YouTube, and if you watch my fights, a lot of them were my wrestling, but I don't like to show too much on. I haven't really had to show my striking ability, which I do have, and I do display in our gym and our spar nights at the gym. But I know Adrian Lee's a state champion out of Hawaii
Yeah.
in wrestling, and no disrespect there. It's going to be a tough wrestling match if it comes down to it. But if it comes down to this whole striking department too, I want yeah, I'm going to let people know that I do have the striking ability as well too.
And how does it feel at one? Obviously, there is different rules from normal organizations. You do have strikes to a grounded opponent. They are available in
Mhm.
one. How does that make you feel?
Um, I'm excited because it just opens the door for more combinations.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm excited for it. I'm preparing for it for the defense part of it and the offense part of it. It is a lot different. Striking a downed opponent to the head. Kneeing him in the head, a downed opponent. So it is a lot different than other top competitors out there. Other organizations. So it's a little bit different, but not too much. And we're game planning for all of it.
yeah, because obviously in Adrian's last fight, he did use that quite well. He started
Hmm.
to, I think, like kneeing his opponent in the face, and that's how
Yeah.
he got. That's how he got the back for that rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you are at one. Is this a multi-fight contract you've got, or are you just taking it fight at a time?
This is just a one fight contract so far. And I think it is to just test the waters.
Yeah.
And, my game plan is to go in there, come out with a W as well. And, hopefully they see what I can bring to the table and, to the organization in a good way. I love the organization's mentality. Everyone's respected. Every fighter respects every other fighter, their opponents. Compared to where you get the other organizations where they kind of talk smack to each other, and
Yeah.
they kind of get personal with each other's personal lives and or religion. And I never stoop myself to that level. I never want to. I just want to be respected, and I want to give the respect to each and every one of my opponents, and just be as humbled as I can be, and go out there and do my work and put on a show for my family, friends, and fans.
Well, that sounds great. Now, when you were making that transition from your amateur career to that pro career, did you see that as you resetting? You're having to rebuild that image.
No, I kind of stood the same way I am from my amateur to my pro career. The only difference that I would say I made was the intensity level. Um, you know, from amateur to a pro is a whole different ball
Yeah.
game. From down here to up here, and I give all my credit to my coaches down at Warrior Built, Jeff Santos, Gabe Charbonneau, and every single one of my teammates from Andre Ross to Frank St. Peter, the real deal Trujillo, who currently is in the power slap for the UFC and also a head coach for them. These guys have really upped my game along with Christopher Lalone from Empower Training Center up in Springs. He is the number one USA kickboxer in the world. And these guys just upped my game, and I couldn't you know, give recognition without those
Yeah.
guys.
And were you excited when you were making that switch? Because obviously, as an amateur, there's a few things you aren't able to do, like knees, elbows. Were you
Mm-hmm.
excited to be able to unleash them as a pro?
Oh, absolutely. I know I messed around with them and spar nights, and you know, when we were talking about the transition from amateur to pro with my coaches, and my coach Gabe started working with me to implement the elbows and knees, and work with different combination, because Gabe Charbonneau, he's a master when it comes to creating wild combinations, and it was just exciting, and I'm excited. I continue to do it, and I know not to go as hard because my some of my teammates are still amateur level and not able to throw, and they so but yeah, man, I mean, it's an exciting feeling, and I can't wait.
And how much do you value watching tape? Do you watch tape on your opponent? Do you watch tape on yourself? Like, how much do you value the tape study?
I don't like to rely on too much tape
Yeah.
study because things can change. It's just like if you're watching a football game and you're studying film on a football game, the opponent, the other team gets a whole week or however many weeks to change their game, and it's no different than in fighting, because sometimes we fight every 2 months, every 3 months. There's guys out there who fight every month, and yet they still have time to plan to change something up. But it is also good. I like to watch film on myself. My fiance goes with me to my spar nights. She records my rounds with my teammates, and I just watch myself to see what I can do better, what I've done bad, what I can correct. Um, so film study is important to me too. At the same time, but it also is can be misleading because, like I said, everybody has an opportunity to change up something each fight.
Exactly. And do you feel like having your fiance as invested into your career? Because, like you're saying, she helps you with your dieting, she comes to
Mm-hmm.
your training sessions. How much does that help improve your game? Like, how much does it just help you get a little bit more confidence?
It helps a lot because, like I said, she's basically my nutritionist. She makes sure what goes in my body, my protein intake, my veggies, switching from regular rice to cauliflower rice, and it helps so much because I can feel the energy level when I spar, when I'm running my 5 miles a day, to my 10 rounds in a row at spar night, our training sessions during our fighters class only, training for 2 hours, and and also working a full-time job still too at the same
Mm.
time, and hitting my miles, coming and resting for a little bit, so I have to go to practice, and so I couldn't do it without her. she does a lot for me, and she takes on a lot too for us. So
And how do you manage to balance out that full-time job with your training?
yeah, honestly, man, I don't know. I just do it. I just roll with the punches. It's a lot, but we still got things to worry about in our personal life at home with my family, and my kids still need to eat. My kids still need a roof over their heads, and but I hope this fight brings an end to where my fiance doesn't have to work as hard, because I know she doesn't like to stay at home. She doesn't want to be a stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
but I hope this fight comes out in the end where I can take care of my family just on my fighting alone.
Well, I wish you the best of luck for that. And after this fight, as long as all goes well, when are you looking to get back into the cage? You looking to
Oh,
have
right
some
away.
time right away?
No, right away, man. Depending on, knock on wood that no major injury happens, between me or even Lee,
Yeah.
where we come out where we could both walk out of the cage on our own 2 feet. I would love to get right back into it, and just show the world, keep showing the world that who Nico Cornejo is, the Steel City Kid, who he is and what he's about.
Well, that sounds great. And I wish you the best of luck for your fight. I'll
Thank
give
you.
you the final word. Do you have anyone you're wanting to shout out?
Just all my sponsors, man, that helped me out through this camp, who donated, family and friends, who helped out with the donations with food, and helping me with my license, help again, get me some t-shirts and get me some, a little bit of branding with the Steel City Kid and our logos and everything else. And shout out to the other gyms that help us out: Empower Training Center up in Springs, Chaos Training Center up in Springs, and even Josh Childress, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in Pueblo. They're a local jiu-jitsu gym. They focus mainly on jiu-jitsu. They're not a full MMA gym, but those guys, we have open roll with them, every first and third Sundays of the month. We collab with them, and those guys are just amazing, you know who help me out in my game plan, and just teach me the ropes. I'm only a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I recently got my blue belt through Carlos Machado, out of Texas, who's our affiliate jiu-jitsu gym in Texas. And Master Machado, he's an amazing man. He's his seminars and his classes, and that's who Jeff Santos was able to get our affiliation with jiu-jitsu through him. And just a shout out to my fiance and my kids who've been there for me, and Jeff Santos and Gabe Charbonneau and Jeremiah Archuleta, who are my three coaches, my striking coaches and my wrestling coach. So, and my teammates, man, I couldn't do it without any of those guys.
That sounds great. Thank you for coming on.
Man, thank you.